What's up, YouTube? It's Donovan the Smartphone Guy here to do a video review of the LeEco S3. So this is a phone that I've been using for roughly about the last week or so, maybe just a little bit over a week, and it's been my primary phone for that time period, and it's time for my full review after using it for so long. So with that being said, right now, I'm going to bring this up. You can pick this phone up for the wonderful price of $129. So you have until December 16th for that. So here is the email I got a little bit earlier today. There it is. There's the coupon code if you want the gold or the gray. So it's $249. That's the regular price. And with that coupon code, you get $120 off. So right now, you can pick this phone up for $129. So with that $129, of course, you get the phone, which the phone is, in my opinion, fantastic. You do not get this case. You get a clear case, just a thin, clear TPU case. You get a solid pair of headphones. These are Type-C headphones, and they work very well. It's really nice because there's some nice DACs in the LeEco, and so you get a really nice sound quality out of those. You got a fast charging brick, Type-C cord, really nice Type-C cord. The case is in here, but then you also get a screen protector as well. So all that for $129. And here's what I'm here to tell you this. This phone is a phone that I think easily could be $300. Now, because LeEco is kind of a newer company to the United States, they're not charging that much. I'm certain that they're taking a loss in this, which is probably why the company seems to be hurting financially right now. But this phone is easily worth your $129, and I'm not getting paid by them. In no way is this a sponsorship of LeEco. They're not paying me. I seriously mean it. This phone is easily worth $129. It's not a perfect phone, but it's definitely worth $129. And probably at that price point is one of the best deals you can get on a phone right now that I can think of anyways. So let me just talk about some of the specs. I'm going to bring a light up here, get a little bit more light on that. So what do you get with that $130 right now? You get a 5.5-inch Full HD display, so that's 1080p. That's 403 PPI. You get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 652 processor, and that processor for me is been pretty fluid. No real issues with that at all. 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of onboard storage. Now, that's kind of a weakness. If I'm going to point out one of the major weaknesses, I would say only having 32 gigs of storage, it's not expandable. That's probably one of the biggest weaknesses of the phone. You get 16 megapixel camera on the rear, 8 megapixel on the front, dual LED flash on that back camera, and then 3,000 milliamp hour battery. We'll talk more about that. And then the fingerprint sensor, that Dolby Atmos sound, quick charge 3.0, all that for $129. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just no brainer to me. If you're thinking about getting it and you have the money between now and December 16th, pick it up because it is easily worth that. So let's talk about the build real quick. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because you've probably seen other videos about the build, but the build is very nice. It's an all-metal aluminum frame, and it feels great in the hands. It's not as premium, I'll say, as the LePro 3. The LePro 3 has more rounded edges, and these are a little sharper. So that's maybe just a very, very small complaint. I put cases on my phone anyway, so you'll never notice those sharp edges anyways. Or if you put even the clear case that it comes with, you'll never notice those edges. But if you're holding it barehanded, the edges are just a little sharper on this one. I do prefer the matte finish that this phone has versus the more glossy finish the LePro 3 has. So that's definitely a plus. This one doesn't collect fingerprints. You can see I got some dirt on it. But anyways, so the build is easily a better build than other budget phones. So let me give you an example. This is the Zenfone Max 3, or Zenfone 3 Max. And so kind of a similar build, right? But this one, you can actually feel the give in it. Where this is a much more solid build. Feels a lot like, I'd say, an iPhone 7 Plus in the hands. Maybe not quite as big because those are real tall phones. But anyways, yeah, so definitely a very nice build to it for sure. So that's the build. Let's talk about next the screen. So this has a 5.5-inch 1080p screen. Is it the best IPS display that I've ever seen? Absolutely not, but it's definitely for $129, easily a passable screen. Again, it's not the greatest screen ever, but it's certainly not bad at all. You're not going to see pixels. For me personally, 1080p is kind of a sweet spot. This kind of reminds me, honestly, like in the color reproduction of this display, kind of reminds me of like an HTC 9, or I don't know, hopefully that brings out a lot of bad memories for a lot of people. But in terms of like the screen quality, that's what it kind of reminds me of. And I haven't had that phone for a long time, but as soon as I turned the screen on, that's kind of what it reminded me of. And the screen on that phone wasn't bad. There were a lot of things good about that phone, but at least for me personally. But it's what it reminds me of, anyways. Next thing, let's talk about the processor. So the processor on this phone for me has been very snappy. I have almost never run into a situation where I had issues with it loading anything. So let's go ahead and just let's load a couple things. These are some of these apps I haven't even used on this phone yet. Like I haven't even used Zedge. So yeah, there it goes. But you can download some nice backgrounds for your phone on Zedge. That's one thing I'll also mention now that I'm using the capacitive buttons. I'm not a huge fan of the capacitive buttons. We have this is our recent apps button, but also you can see that it brings up the quick toggles there as well. So the home button and then the back button. So like the Samsung, it's in the same order as the Samsung. And I'm just not a huge fan of, first of all, I'm not a huge fan of capacitive buttons unless there's an actual physical home button. I just don't like it. And especially these are backlit. That's kind of nice. But like over here, you touch it, nothing. Sometimes you touch here in the middle, there's nothing. And you touch over here and there's nothing. And you kind of feel like there should be, but you don't know. So like right now, I can touch here. There's some spots I can touch where I'm getting nothing. But anyways, that's kind of I don't know, maybe a bit of a frustration, but it's not a big deal. Definitely not a deal breaker by any means, but maybe just something to keep in mind. So, but in terms of processing power, very, very good. Honestly, I can say that I've almost never run into issues where, I'm running multiple apps in the background. So I'll just kind of show you right now how many apps are currently running in the background. Sorry, I know that's not coming in real well, just because of all the light I have in here. But you can see there's a ton of apps running in the background. Let's go ahead and just bring up, what is that, Amazon. And so obviously it had already thrown that into removable storage, but all right, that screen is killing me here. So now let's just go back out onto the main home page here. All right. Whew. All right, that dark screen or that light screen is kind of messing up my picture here. But anyways, so in terms of processing power, very good phone. Let's jump to the cameras. So the camera, 16 megapixel on the back, 8 megapixel on the front. So the cameras are not bad. They're definitely better than most budget phones, I would say, especially for $129. This actually has the exact same cameras that you get on the LePro 3. So that's for me is a huge plus. They didn't even downgrade the cameras at all, going from the more expensive version down to this version for $129, at least right now. And the cameras are passable. They're certainly not the most amazing cameras. But you can see here that we do have slow-mo, and in video we can shoot 4K. Believe it or not, this $129 phone can shoot 4K video. So let's jump in here. So right now it's set at 1080, but I jump in here and there it is, 4K. So you can actually shoot 4K video on a phone that's only going to cost you $129 right now. That's just mind-blowing to me. And the picture quality isn't bad, but again, it's certainly not high end. It certainly beats phones like, well, this is like a Moto G4 Play. This only has an 8 megapixel camera. Believe it or not, that phone actually doesn't take bad pictures though. Easily beats the Asus Zenfone 3 in terms of camera quality. This thing, the camera quality isn't terrible, but it takes so long to take a picture that it's annoying and frustrating. So we'll talk about that phone another day. But in terms of camera quality, not too bad. It's definitely passable. And easily not a deal breaker at all. Low light pictures aren't the greatest, but again, it's $129. So, but it definitely beats out blue phones. I can tell you that much. So let's talk about the battery life. So battery life is definitely another good thing. For me, this is getting about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, which I think is a very decent amount, especially for a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. With other phones that have that same size battery, I definitely did not get that same kind of battery life. So I think for me, 4 to 5 hours is very passable. Battery life as well, so no complaints there. I could easily get through a full day of usage with this phone, and that quick charge 3.0 made it very easy to get a quick charge when I needed it, just a quick top off when I needed it. Let's talk about the software. So that's probably the elephant in the room with this phone. The software, you're going to hear this complaint about the LeEco. So you can see here, this is probably the biggest frustration, is we have that live button. So you think it's going to be the recent app buttons, because place where most of the time you'd have a recent apps button. But if we go ahead and here, hit live. And this is part of the LeEco system, or the ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, of this phone. Let's not update right now. Oh, it's not going to go in there because I haven't used this in I haven't used the so it wants me to update it. There's the speaker. There's that bottom firing speaker. Okay. Well, anyways, what that is, if we were to go into that and I was actually to update it, because I used it on the Pro 3 a little bit, you can actually feed in live TV that they've contracted services with, and there's quite a few options there. So this is definitely an entertainment device. They're trying to make it play nice with their TVs, and it's pretty cool feature for the phone. I mean, you get a bunch of free TV, and right now you can get even the Direct TV free for, I think it's like 3 months, where you get Direct TV now with this phone. So that's kind of cool. If you want to, obviously they're probably going to make you pay after that 3 months, but at least it's the option right up at the beginning. So kind of a cool thing they have going on there. So yeah, the software, probably the biggest frustration is this thing here, and you're going to hear people say this in the other reviews. You have to go up here, so you hit the recent apps button. So here's our recent apps, and then up here's our quick toggles. If I pull down the notification shade, which I can't do right now because I'm in there, all I get is notifications. So there's no other options there. We can manage our notifications, but that's the only other option in there. But again, going back to this, here's our quick settings. So you can scroll through and get all of our different various quick settings. So one thing that's kind of weird is, like, to get Bluetooth, for instance, I have to scroll way over here to find it. So there's Bluetooth. And another one that's kind of, for me, is kind of annoying is to go to my settings, I have to scroll way over to the right, and there's the settings button. But anyways, it's not one that's right up there. And you can change that. You can adjust it. And here's our brightness control. Honestly, for me, after you've been using this phone for like 2 or 3 days, you get completely used to having to go here. But, initially it's probably going to be a frustration for you for the first couple of days as you're getting used to the phone. So the software, it's not a deal breaker. Again, for me, personally, I can be honest with you and say that the entire time I use this phone, I use Nova Launcher. So just get yourself a good launcher. I would go with Google Now Launcher, or if you can get the Pixel Launcher on yours. I've been used to Nova Launcher for so long that it's pretty much what I stick to no matter what phone I use. So I always try to use the regular software for a few days, and then after a few days of reviewing it, I jump into Nova Launcher just because it's what I'm used to. And on Nova Launcher, this phone is very snappy, so I have all my games in here, and it runs all the games just fine. So yeah, this has been a great phone. I mean, especially right now that you can get this at $129. I absolutely think that this phone is a steal. Again, not a perfect phone. The weaknesses are definitely the software. The cameras are good, but not great. So if you want a great camera, you definitely don't want to get LeEcos, either of the phones right now. They're good. They're good cameras. They're not great cameras. But other than that, this phone really just about, it has NFC, it has quick charge, it has everything that you could want in even a flagship phone, but at a very budget price right now, $129. Go pick one up, Lamall.com. It's only $129 right now. I already gave you those coupon codes, but in case you want them again, I'm going to throw them up here, and I'll leave them in a link in the description, because I'm just telling you right now, if you want just a cheap backup phone, you want to buy a phone for your kid for Christmas right now, And their shipping is very fast, by the way. It's 2 to 5 days. You're going to definitely get it before Christmas if you order it. So now until December 16th, use one of these coupon codes and you can get it for $129. Fantastic deal. Pick it up. LeEco, LeS3. Not a perfect phone, but definitely a great one. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.